Hi, I'm Danielle. Welcome to my perfume journal. In this video, I'm sharing my impressions of the perfumes I sampled during the month of March. Here is my sample log for March in my perfume journal. I sampled a total of 7 perfumes this month, 2 designers, 2 niche perfumes, 1 independent artisan perfume, and 1 celebrity perfume. I disliked 4, liked 1, and loved 2 of them. And here are my sampling notes from March. I had several enjoyable sample sessions over the course of March, so now I can tell you a little bit about each perfume that I sampled. First, we have Burberry Body. This came as a free sample with a fragrance net order I placed this month, and here's what I wrote in my journal about it. Soapy, clean, musky, very nondescript kind of perfume. Claims to have absinthe in the opening, but instead of an interesting green anisec potion, I get a boring and generic hotel soap shampoo, the drying kind. Yikes. That was kind of harsh now that I read it back, but I mean, this perfume was just not for me. The notes in Burberry Body, this was the EDT by the way, are absinthe, green apple, and peach, and I think that's the shampoo vibe that I got from it. Then there's rose, tea, and iris, and I usually don't get along with tea scents. And then cashmere, musk, vanilla, and amber in the base. There is most definitely a huge overdose of cashmere in this perfume. Maybe I might enjoy the EDP more, and so if I come across that in a store, I'll give it a try, but as far as the EDT goes, this one's going to be a pass. Next, we have a duo of lilac fragrances, starting with this one, which is Tears from Regime de Fleurs. I got this sample as a surprise freebie with an order I placed back in January, but before I talk about the perfume, I just want to talk about the nostalgia that the scent of lilacs brings to me. So when we were kids and the lilacs were in bloom, we would pluck the little blossoms and suck out the nectar, and it tasted so good. It tasted as good as the lilac smelled. And if you have ever tried jujubes, the candy, the little tiny candies that get stuck in your teeth, there is a lilac flavored jujube. I think it's the orange one. And the purple one is violet flavored, which is another scent / flavor that I love. And actually, before they switched it over to cherry, there was also a rose-flavored jujube. I love floral flavors, like those little square violet pastille candies from Showards that come in like the shiny purple pack. And I love anything rose-flavored, so I guess what I'm getting at here is I would eat perfume if I could, if it were safe. So another just little tidbit about lilacs that I want to share is that a few years ago, maybe it was like 2 years ago, I did an experiment in enfleurage with the lilac tree in my backyard. So enfleurage is this old technique that they use in perfumery where you take the flowers and you lay them down on a bed of some kind of preferably unscented fat. Like when I did it, I used coconut oil, and you let the molecules, like the fragrant molecules, kind of soak into the fat. So you have to change the blooms every like day or couple of days. And you do this like over a period of time. Like it took me about 3 weeks to do the enfleurage. And then when you're done, you have this beautifully scented pomade. Now, what perfumers will do is they'll take that scented fat and they will kind of soak it in ethyl alcohol so that the fragrant molecules are like basically drawn into the alcohol. So this was such a cool experiment to try. I mean, you could really do this with any kind of scented flower, fragrant flower that's in your backyard or in your neighborhood. It was really easy to do, and it ended up being super successful. I still actually have a really small container of the lilac pomade that I made, and I use it as a moisturizer, and it smells absolutely incredible. Like you have the fleeting scents of spring available to you at your fingertips all year round. Okay, so let's talk about the perfume, Tears by Regime de Fleurs. Tears is a very delicate lilac perfume. It was created by Mathieu Nardin, who did quite a few of the perfumes for the Regime de Fleurs line. And here is what I wrote in my journal about this perfume. Lilac shrubs in April before the blossoms are in full bloom, delicate green stems, pale purple buds waiting to fully open, innocent and spring-like. And the notes in tiers are lilac, orange blossom, iris, rosewater, green cognac, frankincense, mandarin orange, red pepper, and ambergris. There is like a gossamer kind of gauzy texture to this perfume, but it also has like a watery quality to it. It's like you're looking at your own reflection in a very clear, rippling stream, and there is a very fragrant lilac shrub behind you. It's what I would describe as like a very poetic lilac perfume. I really enjoyed sampling this. I don't think this is one that I'm going to put on my wish list, but I will definitely be finishing this sample quite happily. Next, I sampled Lilac Love from Amouage. I will just let you know up front that I didn't like this perfume at all. I think it's because I didn't really get much lilac from it. Here's what I wrote in my journal. Lilac honey. Bumblebees have gotten drunk on the nectar of a lilac shrub in full bloom, taken it back to the hive, and made thick orange honey. Very vanillic and syrupy, like a lilac-infused syrup for craft cocktails. So the notes in Lilac Love are heliotrope, lilac, gardenia, and peony, cocoa, tonka bean, and orris, and vanilla, patchouli, and sandalwood. And I just feel like the lilac gets totally drowned out by the syrupy sweetness of this composition. Like the strong notes totally overpower the delicate nature of the lilac. And I really, really wanted this perfume to smell like the color of the bottle, like that lovely pastel purple color. But to me, this perfume was like a wolf in sheep's clothing. With the heliotrope and the orris and the vanilla, I was hoping for like a powdery lilac cloud, but instead I got like a thick lilac reduction. This one was definitely not for me, and so this is going into the declutter bowl. For my next sampling sesh, I sat down with two perfumes that could not be more different, but both equally awesome. First, I sampled this, which is the Eau de Cologne of Shalimar, and this is so beautiful. Nobody does vanilla like Guerlain. It is literally just the most beautiful vanilla I think I've ever smelled in every perfume that they make that has vanilla. And at this point, I think I've maybe tried like 6 or 7 different versions of Shalimar, and I have exactly 0 Shalimars in my collection. I think it's because I end up loving them all so much that I can't decide, and when that happens, I just don't buy anything at all. But after sampling this one, I am putting this in my top 3 Shalimars of all time that I have smelled. That goes with Shalimar l'Initiale, which is like the pretty pink princess Shalimar, and Shalimar Filtre, which is the lavender flanker. And I don't even like lavender. That's how good that Shalimar is. And I also wrote in my journal that I'm kicking myself for missing out on smelling the jasmine and the iris millisemes. Okay, but the notes of Shalimar Eau de Cologne are bergamot, blossoms, jasmine, iris, and rose, and vanilla, balsamic notes, and tonka. And this is according to Parfumo. So you might see different notes in different places, but I go with what Parfumo has listed if I can't find it on the brand's website. So this feels like the regular Shalimar that's kind of like been strained through like a cheesecloth. It's not watered down. It's not like that at all. It's just like a slightly lighter version of Shalimar that feels like a little bit less weighty. Like, I think this would be amazing, absolutely amazing to wear in the summer. I can imagine it having an incredible sillage and a really lovely freshness to it. It has like an extra citrusy top. This is the closest to any of the Shalimars that I could see myself buying, but I really want to try this in the heat first before I decide if I'm putting it on the wish list. So this is going into the bowl of samples that I want to keep wearing. Okay, I'm super excited to talk about this perfume. This is by one of my very, very favorite people in the entire perfume world, and that's James Elliott of Filigree and Shadow. This is Laughing with a Mouthful of Blood. So I have a couple of James's perfumes, and when you order from his line, you have the choice of a water-based or an alcohol-based formulation, and I've always chosen the water-based because, like, why not? Why not see what that's all about? And I can say with certainty, after trying many of his perfumes and owning 2 of them, that his water-based perfumes are just as long-lasting as any alcohol-based perfume I've ever worn. I think it's really innovative and super smart that he offers this choice, especially for like any international customers for whom like shipping perfume can either be prohibitively expensive or even impossible. And I will also say that when you order from Filigree and Shadow, the packaging is unbelievably gorgeous. I went into my photo archives to find this picture to add to this video because I was so blown away by his presentation. And I just feel like this is the kind of unique personal touch that I have found only in the independent artisan perfume world. And I think it makes these purchases even more special. And I will also say that James Elliott is one of the wittiest, kindest, most community-minded and philanthropic independent perfumers. I have a long, long list of his perfumes that I plan to add to my collection, and I have yet to sample a perfume of his that I have not liked. And this perfume was no different. The notes of Laughing with a Mouthful of Blood are, get ready for this list: banana, cola chewing gum and pineapple, lily and linden blossom, and then cedar, cotton, leather, oud, tobacco, and vetiver. I mean, this seems like it would be a totally bonkers combination of notes, but I swear somehow, and really only James could do this, they work. I wrote in my journal, what a brilliant, brilliant opening. And that is 100% true. It is one of the best things about this perfume. It opens like an entire penny candy shop, like the kind where you go in and you put on the little plastic gloves and you scoop the candies into a paper bag, and there's like a proper old cash register that dings on the counter. And the banana and the cola gum and the pineapple are unmistakable, both together and separately. And after the opening settles down, then it becomes this surprisingly beautiful floral perfume with the lily and the linden blossom, giving it like both a little pillowiness and a little bit of sass at the same time. And then when you're in the final like dry down phase of the perfume, there's this juxtaposition of clean and dirty. It's clean from that lingering lily and then the cotton, and a little bit dirty from the oud, but like not too dirty oudy. And then you have the leather and the woods. It is just a really fascinating perfume. I wrote down in my journal, this is every scent family all at once, so brilliant. And that's exactly what this is. It is amazing perfumery to behold. It is the kind of perfume that has that real wow factor, because only somebody with like a genius artistic mind and the ability to act like a skilled chemist could come up with something like this. And I am definitely going to be wearing this one. And finally, we have two perfumes that were wah-wah. They were a bust for me. And I just want to say one more time that, perfume is subjective. I'm always going to share the note lists in my videos, because even if I'm talking about something I didn't like personally, or if I'm giving an honest but like negative impression of a perfume, it might be something that somebody else might love based on the notes. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. This is just my opinion. This is just my personal taste. So the two perfumes I'm going to talk about that were wah-wah are Angel Dust, the Extrait from Fugazzi, and San Ysidro Dry from Victoria Beckham. And I'm introducing them both together because what turned me off on these perfumes is that they smelled to me like every other new release that the salespeople in like fancy department stores try to like spray all over you in the perfume halls. What I get are like boatloads and boatloads of aroma chemicals and very, very strong other notes. Things that, you see people calling beast mode. And it's usually because there's some kind of like saffron or oud or a really patchouli heavy base. And I know a lot of people love these kinds of perfumes. They're super popular right now, but my taste kind of skews away from what's currently popular. And so that's really why neither one of these were for me. So starting with Angel Dust, the Extrait by Fugazzi, the notes are bergamot, cashmere, cashmeran, pink and black pepper, dark woods, and white amber. And what I got from this perfume is a lot of cashmere. Very, very strong muskiness. I'm not really quite sure what white amber is, but I'm guessing it's that like super amber molecule that's heavily featured in a lot of perfumes right now. For me, I just find it really headachy and just too ultra strong. And I mean, this is coming from somebody who wore Poison and Giorgio Beverly Hills in the 80s. I feel like a lot of today's perfumes make perfumes from the 80s seem like subtle. And this is definitely one of them. So this one is unfortunately going over to the declutter bowl. And the last perfume is San Ysidro Drive from Victoria Beckham. When I say that this is strong, I mean it got stuck in my nose and in the air for hours after I sampled it. I mean, even like right now, I took this sample out of the box to film this video, and it has filled the entire room, and I haven't even sprayed it. So if you love a perfume with massive, massive sillage, a perfume that will get a person noticed, this could be a winner. The notes of this perfume are passion fruit, which I tagged as mango when I sampled it, but it was passion fruit, rose absolute, saffron blossom, vanilla, black amber, jasmine, oud, peony, and sea breeze. And every single note that is listed, minus the sea breeze, is extremely recognizable in this perfume. It's like every single material that was used was turned up to the max volume and put into the composition in like perfectly equal amounts. This is definitely a perfume for the fruity saffron oud lovers, of which I am not one, unfortunately, so I am going to be passing this sample along. So there we have it, my impressions of the 7 perfumes I sampled during the month of March. I will say that even when I don't like a perfume, I'm always glad to have smelled it. We can't know what we love if we never smell what we don't love, right? Thank you so much for watching, for spending your time with me, and for chatting perfumes with me in the comments. I really appreciate you being here, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.